My friends feel it's their appointed duty. They keep trying to tell me all you want to do is use me. And my answer, yeah, to all that use me stuff, I say I won't spread the news that it feels this good getting used. Just keep on using me, yeah, until you use me up. Until you use me up. My brother, he see me right down and he talked to me. He told me I'd not let you just go walk on me. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm sure that it meant well. But when our talk was through, yeah, I got guys said, brother, if you only knew, you would wish that you were in my shoes. Just keep on using me, yeah, yeah, until you use me up. Sometimes it's true, you really do abuse me. Stick me in a crowd cast of high-class people, no, no. And then you act real rude to me. And then you act real rude to me. I said, baby, 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 little 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 baby, baby. You know I can't get enough. And I said, now I won't spread the news that if it feels this good getting used, yeah, just keep on using me until you use me. Until you use me up. Until you, baby. Baby, till you use me. Baby. what you standing there for? Get up, get out, or get yourself on out the door. Playing reggae music on the fireside floor. I'll give it all you had. Why would you ask for more? There's a dragon with matches who's loose on the town. Take a whole pail of water to cool him down. I say fire, fire on the mountain. Fire, fire on the mountain. Fire, fire on the mountain. On the mountain, yeah. Fire, fire. Tori's a long distance runner. What's she holding out for? Caught in slow motion in a dash for the door. The flame from the live stream gonna spread to the floor. You gave it all you had. Why would you ask for more? The give that you give, the more that you take. To this fine line which you really can break. I say fire, fire on the mountain. 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 And I still praise, baby, baby, little baby, 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 little baby, baby. You know I can't get enough. I said I wanna spread the news. If it feels it's good getting used, just keep on using me, yeah, until you use me. I said now. Fire on the mountain. Fire, 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 fire on the mountain. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for much hanging out with me. My name is Ben. And I'll be turning you all over to SketchUp right here. Thanks for tuning in every week. See you next time.
It's SketchUp's 3D Basecamp Fireside Chat Series. Here's the lay of the land before we get started. If you run into choppy video or sound, click Get Audio Video Help down here and enable Compatibility Mode. You'll end up with a slight delay, but a buttery smooth stream. You can participate over on this side by asking our guest a question, answering the occasional poll, or just joining in on the chat. And in the middle, you'll see relevant links that'll change as our show goes along. Today's guest for the show is inventor Izzy Swan. And now, your hosts, Aaron Dietzen and Tori Hassan.
Awesome. That was a blast. We don't give props enough, but isn't it awesome to start with 10 minutes of Ben at the beginning of this? That was just so cool.
It is. He gets the energy up before we even have to do anything.
I'm like, now I got to go on. Anyhow, welcome to the Fireside Chat. This is our SketchUp's weekly webinar series where we take crisp, crunchy education and melty, gooey entertainment. We squish it together on a big, puffy SketchUp marshmallow and serve you a weekly s'more just ready for you to consume.
You know, Aaron, that was a fantastic metaphor. And actually, I'm glad you brought up s'mores because my new favorite invention came in the mail yesterday. This is my at-home s'mores maker.
Hmm.
I get it. I get the skeptics out there, but all you have to do is put the s'mores ingredients in, throw some water in the top, and put it in the microwave, and you have got campfire s'mores in 30 seconds.
Water in the top? Because s'more ingredients need to be moistened before you can enjoy them. Everybody likes a good soggy s'more.
Some things I find it best not to question, but do you want to see if it works?
I'm skeptical, so yes.
All right, well, let's try it out.
All right.
In the mic. Oh, we're ready?
That's 30 seconds goes by fast.
It does. It was a very quick 30 seconds. I mean, that looks like a s'more to me.
I wouldn't confuse it with like a piece of ham or anything, but it does make you wonder, what is it? Is it like gooey, crunchy, melty, crisp? How does it taste? Because really, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's a s'more. It should taste good.
I have such high hopes for that, but it tastes like plastic.
Well, I think Tori has found her new favorite invention, but we would like to hear what your favorite invention is. So we're going to throw a poll up on the screen asking you about what was your favorite invention over the past 100 years or so. If there's something else you can think of we didn't include on the list, it turns out that a lot of things have been made in the last 100 years. So your favorite might not be there. So go ahead and throw it in the chat if it's not on the list. But otherwise, if you see something on the list that you think was a big game changer, go ahead and click on it.
Mm-hmm. And while you all brainstorm your inventions and I try to get the taste of that s'more out of my mouth, I'm going to give us a bit of background on today's guest. Aaron and I are going to be joined by inventor Izzy Swan, who's coming to us from Greenville, South Carolina. Raised by hippies, Izzy is a fifth-generation tradesperson who has been building and designing since he was just knee-high to a grasshopper. And his out-of-the-box thinking and engineering and design skills have led to what he calls some completely wild contraptions. And today he's going to take us through his design process for creating unique mechanical parts. With a twist, they are created entirely out of wood.
That is, it is pretty cool. I'm not sure if you guys have seen Izzy's page. He puts a lot of stuff on Instagram, but he has a lot of cool videos where he shows just some crazy stuff he's made. And some of it's very practical. He saw a problem and he solved it, or a different way to go about doing something. But then some of it is just cool. Like I don't know how else, it's just cool stuff. So let's review the poll real quick. We're a little light on votes, guys. I can see how many of you are in here, and we not a whole lot. Maybe it was not clearly explained, but right down here where it says polls, if you click on it, you can in a second
you go in and vote.
Make a vote. But of those of you who did vote, about a third of you chose SketchUp as your favorite invention. Oh, just went over the edge with 7.
One more.
So yeah, you guys passed.
It was a test. We tricked you.
That's
and
right.
At least a third of you got it.
It's going up. It's okay. So we're over 40%. That means we can proceed with the show.
Okay. Perfect. We can move on. Because actually, for those of you that were here last week, you will remember that Aaron tried to teach me how to whittle. I failed miserably. Thank you to everybody who showed concern for my hands. We're in better shape this week. I have healed up nicely. But I kind of want my revenge on Aaron. So today I'm going to be teaching him something that I know how to do.
Revenge, that's harsh, but yeah, I get it.
I think it's fair. I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll surprise us. Maybe you'll be amazing at it. And this, again, I'm just going to come out looking ridiculous. But we are going to try crocheting our new Fireside Chat mascot, the fox. So, Aaron, I sent you home with a shopping list. Do you have your yarn and your crochet hook?
I do. I'm gonna make a snow fox, I guess, since I have white. That's gonna be okay.
That's okay. That's totally fine.
You just said crochet hook, so I assumed bigger is better. I got the biggest thing I could find. That's like, it's enormous. So that's gonna be great.
It'll work. It'll work. You'll have a bigger fox than I do, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
Right.
So to get started, you want to take your yarn and you're gonna wrap it around your pinky. And then back over the top of your hand, create a little loop like this in your palm. And from there, we're going to take the crochet hook through the loop, grab the yarn, pull it back through, yarn over, and do what we call a slip stitch. And now you're going to go back through the loop again, grab the yarn, pull it through, and do what we call a single crochet. And once you've got that hook stitch, you're really set to go. You're just going to do another single crochet, keep doing that, pulling the yarn through, and you're going to create a loop. And in a little bit here, oh, I dropped it. This is what your fox base should look like. Is that kind of what you're looking at?
There's yarn involved. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're close. It always looks a little bit funny at the beginning. So once you've got your loop, you're just going to keep stitching, adding to the body. Once you've got the body, then all you have to do is stitch the tail, the ears, the nose, put the eyes on, and then you'll have a little fox that looks just like this. I'm a little worried that your yarn is red now.
Yeah, it turns out that yarn not only is great for crocheting, but also for tourniqueting. So I should not have sharpened my crochet hook before doing this.
Probably not. And I should have sent you some of the Band-Aids from last week. That's
right. Would have helped. So yeah, maybe at the end we'll do a poll about, whoops, his head fell down a little bit. There. See, it's totally a fox. Maybe we'll poll later about which fox we should use for the, okay.
Everyone can pick. Well, while Aaron gets himself cleaned up there, I wanted to put this out to all of you, our viewers. With our little mascot, we actually need some help naming him. And so we were hoping that you, our audience, could help us pick a name by suggesting your favorites in the chat. Our moderators are going to be watching for any names that you put forward throughout the duration of this episode. They'll keep note of them. And then we'll come back next week and tell you what our favorite name is. And the person that we pick is actually going to get a brand new Fireside hoodie. These are my favorite.
They are solid. That is a great piece of clothing to have in the closet or on your body.
It is. Maybe don't wear it now, all of you out there that are telling me about the 100-degree heat, but it'll be perfect when it finally cools off for you this winter.
That's right.
So,
and it's already come up, and I've already been told that we can't name the Fireside Fox Aaron.
Oh, I suppose that means Tori's out too, eh?
Yeah, it should be.
We tried. Ooh, I like it. We've got Ben's in there with Tori's understudy.
Awesome. So
good starts.
Yeah, we're going to bring Izzy up in just a few minutes. But before that, I do want to remind you guys that we are doing another giveaway. So in addition to next week giving away the Fireside Chat hoodie, we are also going to be doing a giveaway at the end of this show. So Izzy's going to come up in a few minutes, and we're going to hang out with him, talk, play a little game. Then he's going to do a presentation on how he designs mechanical parts using SketchUp. During his presentation, he's going to drop a lot of facts, and you're going to want to pay attention to all of them, because when he's done, he's going to ask you guys a trivia question, and the first person to answer correct is going to win a special prize. It's prize time. What's our prize this week, Tori?
Haven't gotten tired of that music yet. Ask me again in episode 8. This week's prize is actually coming from Izzy's personal store. Whoever answers his trivia question is going to be going home with a set of digital plans for his modern Adirondack chair. Adirondack. Oh, I can't pronounce that.
You got
Hopefully,
it on the second one.
the second time. But yes, thank you to Izzy for providing this plan today. So you'll receive it digitally. Just be the first person to come in and answer the trivia question at the end.
It is an awesome set of plans. It is an awesome chair too. So definitely going to want to win that one. Well, I think we took care of everything that was. I was going to say the important stuff, but we haven't gotten into the important stuff. We've done enough of our thing that it's probably time to bring the important guy on stage. That's how that should go. So everybody at home, you're allowed to clap at home or in the office. It's okay. Let's give a big round of applause to our guest this week, Izzy Swan. Hey, Izzy, welcome.
Hey, Izzy.
This isn't fair. You guys are taller than me on the camera. What's up with that?
I just put a couple books under my seat.
Yeah, and in real life, I'm 7'3", so this is just accurate.
How are you doing? I first off, I just want to say thank you, because I do follow you on social media, so I know that you are one of the busiest people on the planet Earth, and it doesn't ever seem to stop or slow down for you. So thank you for making time to come on our show with us.
No, my pleasure. Thank you very much for the invitation. It was honored. So I'm kind of curious about how people are going to respond to my workflow, because it's probably very unorthodox compared to a lot of the things that I've seen. So this should be interesting.
I think unorthodox probably also sums up a lot of your work. So I think it falls right.
I think that matches well. So we wanted to take. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, I love that you described it, the fun builds that we do as wild contraptions. That was perfect.
I think I actually stole that one from you, your description on one of your pages.
Probably.
It was an accurate description. I enjoyed looking through your work. And speaking of, actually, we had a few questions for you just to help. I think a lot of the audience is familiar with you, but for those that aren't, we wanted to take a chance to talk about some of your work and let them get to know you before you present.
Okay.
I was most curious. So going through your YouTube page and all of the stuff that you've done, it really looks like you have done basically everyone's dream of turning a fantastic hobby into a career. It kind of like everything that you make looks like so much fun. And I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about how you did that.
By accident.
It works.
No, I posted my very first video on YouTube. It was 2013, March 19th. And I did it grudgingly. I wasn't, a friend of mine, I was trying to meet other makers in my area that weren't a lot in the area that I was at. So a friend of mine suggested posting a YouTube video about making stuff and try to reach out to that community. It was like, you mean the one that the kids are always watching, I think? So I went on there and checked it out. Back then, Steve Ramsey, Mark all those guys were on there. I was like, okay, here's some woodworkers here. So I posted a video. It was the worst video I ever posted on YouTube that day, just so you guys know. I left it up. It's like the one video I left up that I refused to take down.
So it's still on there if people want to see your origin story.
Yeah, right. It was worse. It was like from my cell phone under my arm at a jig, one angle the whole time, and I'm talking in monotone through the whole thing, explaining the jig. That was it. And I literally posted it from my Galaxy Note 9 or 10, I think is what it was back then. But you know what? People commented and asked questions. And that for me, that engagement for me was a hook. So another month later, I posted another video and it happened again. And then I posted another one and it happened again. I was like, you know what? I've been around the block a few times. I could probably post a few things folks haven't seen before. So I did that, and it just, that was the end of it. And being a businessman, I recognized the opportunity to, educate and teach, and that's really what I get excited about, and also help monetize and, earn a living from at least part of that. So, yeah, so that's the short version.
I like it. I wanted to throw a term out to you because this is one of those terms that I think it means something different to everyone. But I think you would call yourself a maker, right? Would that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you define a maker?
Anyone that makes anything.
Okay.
It's a very simple definition. If you're a chef, if you're an artist, if you're a fabricator, a woodworker, and by the way, if you guys would have told me you were crocheting, I would have brought my stuff down. Just so you know.
Am I a maker?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Actually, I have a gal on my social media page for makers and Makers Playground that all she does is post knitting projects and crocheting projects, and we love it. It's great. So anybody who makes anything is a maker.
That's awesome.
If you use these to make something, you are, in my definition, a maker.
Fantastic. I wanted to we have a couple of people in the chat here that are saying they're having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. I don't know if you can.
Is that helping at all? If I move it a little bit closer?
There you go.
You sound louder to me. So thank you.
I did want to key in on something you just mentioned. You did mention the Makers Playground. For anybody who doesn't know about that, can you fill us in on the Makers Playground?
Yes. Okay, guys, hang on a second here. I am going to make a little switch that will make this a whole lot easier for you. Here we go. How about that, y'all?
Oh,
That wasn't the right button.
there we go.
Did the audio get better?
There
Yes.
we go.
Now we got you.
So this thing I can't show you this way over here is my voiceover mic. It's like, it's a big fancy pants mic that I use for doing voiceovers. And apparently that's the one that you guys were picking up, not this one. So,
I think some of our audience knew that.
so sorry, y'all.
We've spent the last year and a half doing at-home conferences and talking to everybody this way. I don't think it's really a surprise or upsetting anyone. Everybody's like, oh yeah, been there, done that, been doing that a lot.
Yeah, and it's like I have four mics hooked up to this system. So it's like, actually no, three now. Just three. I took one out because it was getting confusing.
I know that pain.
Yeah, well, we've got the right one now.
Yeah.
All right. Should we start over?
I think you're okay. But you were going to talk about Makers Playground.
Yeah, Makers Playground. You guys, anybody who knows me knows that I'm pretty heavy into social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Well, I wanted a place that was legitimately all maker, all day long, just maker. None of the other bells, whistles, dancing girls, or politics, or anything else. It's just makers. So we built a platform. It's called Makers Playground. It's in your app store on your phone. You can find it. We're just about to make a big improvement to it. We've been kind of sussing it out over the last year, almost 2 years now. Just playing with it, word of mouth kind of stuff. We've got 30,000 folks in there that are all diehard, DIYers and makers from very beginners to, experts. And it's a lot of fun. So we're very excited about, this next step for us, and we're about to just blow it up. We're pretty excited. So
awesome.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good place to be. It's developed a very, very interesting community vibe. So that's what happens when makers get in the same room together. I can't explain that unless you know. So.
It is a cool, so many social media platforms you get on, everybody comes in with a agenda. whether they intend to or not. And it's nice to go into a spot where everybody's agenda is basically just lift each other up. Let's all just support each other in what we like to do. And it's pretty cool and unique in that sense.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like if people haven't seen it, this is a good time to check it out.
Absolutely.
If you want to, no pressure.
Well, no pressure from Izzy, but I'm going to tell you probably should. So
go and see it.
I'm not affiliated with Izzy. I'm just saying you should go do that.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. We actually wanted to, if you'll humor us, Izzy, we wanted to play a game with you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So we've talked a little bit about some of the cool things that you've made, but I think there's people here that probably haven't seen them yet. And we thought it would be kind of fun to test how well you actually remember all of the different projects that you've made over the years. And so we came up with a game to do exactly that. What's the game called, Aaron?
This is...
Now it's time for Easy Something You Made?
Oh, no.
So what we're going to do here is we went through your YouTube channel and we grabbed a couple shots of some things you've made. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of bounce through a few of these. I'm going to show you a silhouette, an outline of an invention you created, and see if you can pick it out from that. So we'll hop in. And if you have a little bit of a story, want to tell us a little bit about not what it is so much as on some of these, why you decided to make this. So with that, we will go ahead and hop in here. You're going to be good. All right. So
you got this.
Here's the first one. We'll start off easy. Wait a minute. Hold on. Close your eyes. Oh, I had one job. One job, and I ruined it. Okay, so pretending the last 3 seconds didn't happen, do you recognize the outline?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
would you have recognized it if Aaron hadn't shown
Yeah, for sure.
We started simple.
Yeah.
So what was this project?
It was a 325 pound. It ended up being 325 pound robot bulldog that was made out of wood and powered by a drill. So the legs in the back use the Theo Jensen walking mechanism, which I'm very fond of because it's easy to manipulate to make look like it's organic, like the movement is fairly organic. I've used it in 3 builds now on YouTube out of the, 600 videos I have. 400 and plus videos on YouTube, and then a few others in the other place. So you guys scared me for a minute. Yeah, so there was a 36-volt drill I was testing, and I wanted to just push it to the very max of what it could handle. So combined weight of that dude and the dog, there's about 700 pounds of weight there that drill is pushing along with those crazy looking legs on the back, and the legs are actually what pushes it. So yeah,
that's you did it. All right, now let's see if I can do the next one and actually properly present. You recognize this outline right here.
You guys are making this way too easy.
We're going in easy.
Yeah, we start easy.
Okay. That's Bob.
You got
Bob is a 10-foot tall, 15-foot long mechanized robot that is powered by an 18-volt drill that my kids can ride around the neighborhood. Now, what you may not know is that the jaw and the tail are also mechanized, driven by the same 18-volt drill. So the jaw moves up and down as it walks and the tail wags. And then the legs, same situation as before. This is the Theo Jensen mechanism. And again, I just redesigned the mechanism to look more organic. When the thing actually moves, it looks fairly organic as far as its movement goes. So yeah, my kids put quite a few miles around the neighborhood on that thing.
I bet. And your kids are set apart from all the other kids' bikes in the neighborhood.
They get some cool factor. They get some cool factor when they're riding one of these things around. Yep.
Okay. So you said the last one was too easy. So I'm gonna make this one a little more of a challenge.
Okay.
What is this?
That's a box. That is a folding table. It's a 20 inch by 20 inch by remember right, 31 inches tall. that opens up into a 60 by 60 or 64 by 64 fold picnic table.
Wow.
Man, here I thought this was going to maybe like stump you, but no, it did not. Man knows his work. So I mean, obviously all of these videos are on Izzy's channel, so I definitely recommend you check it out. But this is one where I was like, the bulldog was cool. The dinosaur was cool. This is something that I could see actually like using. I mean, this was perfect. This was awesome. So have this little box and have it pop up as a table with chairs. Pretty good.
Yeah, it was a fun build. It was definitely a fun build. It's probably to date one of my more popular builds. I think.
You have plans for this, right?
Yeah, I have there's two versions of that. There's the they call it the Izzy folding table, and then the mini Izzy folding table. This is the adult version. There's a version that works for, well, I mean, I can sit on it, but it works for smaller, adults, teenagers, and kids and stuff. So that one weighed like 80 pounds. That one was made out of all wood. So we redesigned it, plywood version. That's a lot lighter, though. That one weighs like 35 pounds. A lot more practical to throw in the back of the truck and take to a tailgate or something.
That makes sense.
Right.
All right. So obviously that was still too easy. So let's go a little tougher with the outline. Do you recognize this build?
That is, I think, that's a close folding table. Is that what?
Maybe.
No, that is that's not fair. That's a folding bookcase. So,
it is. Well, I had to. I mean, you were knocking the other ones out a little too easy.
There's no legs. There was no. I mean, come on. That could have been a number of things: close folding table, folding bookcase. What else? There's several others. Clamping table.
To be fair, you do have a lot of things that end up looking like rectangles. So.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But this one was cool because it did. It is that it's the same piece folded upwards. So
yeah, this one was actually selfish. I'm doing a hydroponic system with this. We ended up designing an entire hydroponic system that was actually CNC controlled using this type of mechanism. So it could come out from the wall, fold down, and CNC could come down and plant and pull lettuce.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Yeah. That's, again, not on YouTube. Not.
Just this prompts the question: do you ever have anything and just be like happy with the way it is, or is there always an opportunity to push a little bit and make it better?
Yes and yes. I mean, I'm always happy with the process. And I mean, there's been a few times where I've done something on, okay, we could have done a little better on this or whatever. But for me, every progression is a learning experience. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, there's always some things that you go, I could have done this better. I should have done this. And that usually comes down to some finite mechanisms or small things. So yes, to answer your question.
Okay, that works. All right, we got 2 questions left. I'm being prompted. Do you recognize this
bowling ball? That's a bowling ball I made on a table saw.
Wow. I missed that one. I'll give you a bullet there. It's a circle. But if I add these pieces.
Oh, you got me.
Oh.
All right.
Oh. Okay, here we go again. 36 volt drill powered reverse big wheel, I guess. Thing would go 12 miles. We geared it pretty smooth. It was right at the cusp of where it could push my weight, but this thing could tote me around the neighborhood at about 10 miles an hour. With him on it, that's one of my helpers back in the day. It could go about 13 miles an hour. So.
Wow. All right. One last one. It's another rectangle.
Uh-oh.
But I got a hint on this one too. So this is a little unfair. So I'm gonna throw the hint up there.
Folding toolbox.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So this is a just exactly how it sounds. It's an automated folding toolbox. You push down on the handle, and the 4 drawers open up simultaneously to give you access to it, and then you give the drawers a little pat in the center, and then pull up, and it closes them. So I actually designed this. I designed a bigger version of this for my garden tools, and it was pretty popular. So I designed a smaller version that you could throw some chisels and a hand plane and show off to your neighbors. Just walk over, set it down, and pop it open. So
It's all about the show, is what you're saying. Kind of like
well, yeah. I mean, isn't that what it's all? It's always about that.
Gotta
Well,
be able to show up a little.
I was impressed. I mean, you especially that third one. You just did rectangle, and you're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. That's the folding table. I was surprised. So, awesome! You win, and your prize is you get to present to us now.
Oh, right on.
Yes. Remember, everybody in the audience, while Izzy's presenting, we're going to be in the chat and we'll be monitoring the question box down at the bottom. So if you have a question for Izzy, then please put it in the Ask a Question section, because that's where we're going to pull from during the Q&A. So if you like someone else's question, upvote it so that we know. And without further ado, Izzy, I'd like to hand the floor over.
Right on. All right, we're going to start with a little slideshow here, guys. Let me get to the right screen, share. There we are. That's not, you don't want to look at that.
Got nothing yet.
All right, well, it's here. Hang on.
Select the screen and then hit, there it is. That's it.
There, we got you.
All right, so today we're talking about designing mechanical parts. I'm going to walk you through my workflow, what that might look like on a typical build for me. Again, not all builds are typical, but this will at least hopefully give you guys some nuggets and maybe help you out in your design process. So I consider myself an inventor, designer, fabricator. That's kind of what I've been doing since I started a very, very long time ago. I'm a 5th generation craftsman. My heritage is in furniture. My grandfather, great-grandfather, grandfather before him were either tradesmen or furniture makers. So that's kind of how I got into the furniture thing. I currently live in Greenville, and I run a couple of small businesses as well as my social media pages. Most of my time is spent designing and developing and building new products for woodworking and agriculture, and also for some manufacturing. So I design a lot of stuff did until the pandemic, design a lot of proprietary tools and equipment for the furniture industry. And then I do some stuff for woodworking, and I do some stuff for agriculture. Now, most of the stuff for agriculture and all the stuff for factories doesn't get seen on YouTube. So I wanted to show you guys a quick video of some of the stuff I do. Now, some of the things that we just did on the trivia, you guys will see. And I'm going to pull that up right now. This is a quick 40-second video. And most of these things here were designed in, guess what? SketchUp.
Woo!
Woohoo.
So here's a Bob. You can see him moving his mouth and wagging his tail. So the gears on this are designed in SketchUp. This whole thing is designed in SketchUp. And this is a fairly complex mechanism that someday you guys will hopefully see. The centipede was an 8-foot-long gear-driven centipede powered by a drill. And again, chainsaw mill designed in SketchUp. Just real simple. You can build it for under $100. The folding table.
There it is.
And here's a little shot of the big wheels. We'll call it the big wheels and the folding table. So you saw all this stuff. Good call, Aaron.
Oh, sorry. Apparently, we picked the best. That means.
And there's the bulldog walking.
I didn't get to show it moving, so it's still cool.
Right, and that I call the world's fastest folding table. So, let me pull up some SketchUp here. So today we're going to talk a little bit about my workflow on designing mechanical parts, and I have this pulled up. This is going to be a little drill press that a corded drill is going to sit in, and then this will attach to a vacuum system, so you'll be able to vacuum it down to anything. Like some of you may have seen drill presses that have a magnetic base that you can latch onto metal plates to drill holes basically anywhere in the metal plates that you want. In this case, you'll be able to do it on pretty much anything that you can't pull a vacuum through. So plywood, steel, drywall, tile, the list goes on and on. So this is a very simple prototype version that I designed up here in SketchUp. We're going to talk a little bit about my workflow on that. And did you guys know that the drill press was patented in 1889? Can you believe that? That long ago by a guy named William Blanche, get this, Brain. I kid you not.
Sounds like a smart guy.
Yeah.
Yep. an Australian dude. So that was pretty cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. So this is a pretty, I'm not going to go crazy, say it's very basic, but it's not overly complex as far as the systems go. We have a stanchion, then we have a drill carriage that'll slide up and down the stanchion, and then we have our rack and pinion, or our gear and rack, that will be actuated by a handle. When you pull down on that, the drill will come down into the material. So when I'm starting a build like this, I'm going to typically start with just a basic layout. So I have a good idea. Either I've pre-sketched out some ideas on a pad of paper, and I know what basic dimensions of where I'm going to head with. So if I have this kind of tall platform or anything like that, I'm going to start with just a basic layout. So this is the basic layout. This is what the drill press stanchion is going to look like from the bottom. Now I've made this a component, so I can go through here very rapidly and just turn this really quickly into parts. So to do that, I'll go ahead and just do the outline here. Get rid of that. And now I have the base right there. Now it's going to be 12 inches tall, so I'm just going to pull that to 12 inches. And again, I'm going to do the same thing for here. For this is the center stanchion, or the center support. Again, just grabbing that, moving it off my plate and moving that to 12 inches. So this just makes workflow go really, really quickly. And I was talking to Aaron the other day, yesterday. We were talking about doing scenes. I have never used a scene in SketchUp. Now my point is that, with one of the really cool things about SketchUp is that you can learn what you need. And for me, I learned SketchUp because, frankly, it's fast. As far as design software goes, I can go through to SketchUp and design something way faster than I can do it in any other program. It's just really fast. So there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to SketchUp. And you personally, you learn what you need, and you're going to, basically develop a workflow for yourself. And SketchUp is very flexible in letting you do that. So how you make the parts can be done in so many different ways. How you lay it out. So that's probably my favorite, if not my favorite, one of my favorite things about SketchUp. So now that I've got my stanchion laid out, I can make that disappear. These are all now components. I don't want to change that, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab all those and make them all a component. So that's the start of it, real basic. So next thing I need to do is build my slide, and I'm going to do that just by I can come over here and take some dimensions if I wanted to, because I've already done it. But in the spirit of I'm doing this off the cuff, sort of, not really. I'm just going to come over here and make a rectangle, pull it out to the dimension I need. In that case, it's going to be 3/4. And then I know I'm going to make that about 3.5, 4 inches tall. So I'm just going to come down 4 inches and then pull down to that. Now, I watched Aaron do a lot of design stuff, and he doesn't typically use dimension lines like I do. By the end of a design, it looks like Spider-Man went absolutely crazy when I do. So I really, when I teach SketchUp, I really try to push using dimension lines, because I can do basic things like come over here and just pull things to where I need them. Now, in this case, I'm not using a dimension line. I'm just going to pull because I want a 1/8 setback on this. So I'm just going to type in that dimension.
Well, that's one of the great things about SketchUp, that is it's so interesting to see the same tool used by 3 or 4 different people, and everybody has a different process.
They have their own, yeah. And that's, and I think, that is the greatest thing about the flexibility of SketchUp, is that we all come up with our own workflow, especially folks that haven't, like myself, who haven't taken a lot of SketchUp training and stuff. And I think that's one of those things that just works. So, So what's happening here, guys, is I am building a slide mechanism. So this is the stanchion, or the drill press slide, if you will. And this is the mechanism that's going to slide up and down, or the parts that are going to slide up and down here. So always make it a component, y'all, for those of you guys just starting out. After you finish an operation, making it a component. Even if you mess it up, you can fix it. So let me get that back there. Okay, so here we go. I've got my basic stanchion and the capture mechanisms for the slide. So now I need some sides on here. So to do this, I can do a couple of different ways. I can come out here and measure out to my parts, and I can go ahead and just create a square that's equal. Typically, when I'm designing, I'm going to kind of show you guys how I design here. I know that's going to be the basic part of the slide. I'm going to see what I said about making it a component.
Oh,
yeah, I know. You know, you
know,
do it too, Aaron.
Well, that was not harassment. I was just going to say it all comes down to how much you're used to talking and modeling, because that's what gets you.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it kind of is. Let's do that differently. So I'm going to pull this out to the side of the slide here. Let me get that out of there.
And you did say, Izzy, you use a 3D mouse, right, in your design?
Yeah, I've been kind of avoiding that so I don't, confuse people. But yeah, I typically use a 3D mouse. You guys can see that really smooth kind of transition. So it depends on what I'm doing too. If I'm doing something that's a lot more complex, I'll use it a lot more often. One of the things I do a lot when I'm designing, and I don't know how many of you find this useful or not, is I use I call it the K tool because I don't know what the proper term is for it.
Back edges.
So I literally leave that on most of the time, but I figured I would, leave that off so I don't, confuse or whatever. All right. So the one part I'm not going to model in here because it's fairly precise is the drill holder. Let me pull that over here. And what you're looking at here, you're going to see some parts in different colors. So these are the green are 1/2 parts, and I do this across all my files. I have a color-coded system. So if something is 3/8 or 1/4 inch or green or yellow, each of them have a different color. So yellow parts are always 1/2 parts or 3/4 parts. Green parts are always 1/2 parts. That way there's never any confusion about what belongs to what. Let me turn that back to white so this doesn't look messy. So I always have, well, I could probably show you in the Instagram after this. I always have several measuring tools at my disposal right in front of me all the time when I'm doing this. And if I'm like laying this out, this will hold a Milwaukee drill or a Makita drill, excuse me. So I can design these things when I'm on the go right in front of it. So in this case, I need a 1/8 setback. So when I have parts that are going to interlock with each other, rather than trying to like just, like this, let me show you here. Rather than just setting this in place. I haven't made a component yet because I'm going to change it, but come on, you get in there. This is where the 3D mouse comes in really handy.
Hey, go for it. I use the 3D mouse all the time. People are used to it. Okay.
So rather than just these are going to be cut out of, in this case, the prototype will be cut out of some HDP. So rather than just like doing a butt joint here, I want to make sure that these line up really well. So what I'll do is just create a little a rabbet or rebate, however you guys like to call those. Everybody's got a little different thing about that. So make that a component.
Nice. So it kind of seems like, and I'm not surprised by this, but you got a little bit of a balance of using SketchUp to kind of show you what you're going to do, but it's balanced out with experience where you know how things are going to fit together and kind of what your design is going to look like from the beginning.
Yes. And that said, Aaron, there's, a lot of times I know what I want the thing to do. I got to keep moving here. But it doesn't always mean that I know everything, like, this is exactly how it's going to work. Sure. So I may come in here and start sketching. Like I'll start with some dimensions. Like I have a pretty good idea of what the dimensions are going to be. And then I'll come in here and do, some fine tuning in SketchUp, which is really what SketchUp is amazing at.
Right.
All right. Go ahead and move that over the 1/8 and back down.
Wow. It's just amazing to me to see how quick it comes together. I mean,
yeah, and that I would preface that with that comes with some experience with SketchUp, but as soon as you learn to navigate the 3D space, it gets a lot easier and a lot faster. But you guys did you guys did a SketchUp tutorial a while back that was all about what I do. There it is. And this is when it hit home for me because I'd been messing with SketchUp, and then I went back and I started watching some tutorials and stuff, and I was like, one of them was learning the 3 basic things of SketchUp: your endpoints, your edges, and your surfaces. And then the bigger one is stickiness. They called it stickiness, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. So it was like just having that, the availability that you guys, I don't know that there's any other program I've ever seen that has the amount of information available out there. I mean, it is off the chain. If you want to know how to do something in SketchUp, I'd be willing to bet there's a video about it. So, it is nuts how much available information there is. So right now, this is just some guesswork here. I'm not going to dimension this out, but I'm just creating. This is going to help me hold the drill, because this is going to be a lot of pressure right here in this section you see right here, because I'm going to be pushing down with a mechanism, and the drill's going to, there's going to be resistance, so there's going to be a lot of pushing up on that part. So I want to add some stability to it. So to do that, I'm bringing the sides, which capture our slide mechanism, out further, so it just offers it some support. So let me get rid of that here. And then, of course, one of my favorite things to do in the world is duplicate the part and flip it.
Flip along, my nemesis. I can never get that.
Is
right.
that your nemesis for
every
really?
time?
I don't know. He made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, you got it. That's awesome.
I use this thing. I can't even tell you. It's like my. Aside from the K option, this is like legitimately my favorite part of SketchUp, is just being able to like flip it. So we made that a component. Those are the parts that are going to create the slides. So now I'm going to go through and test a couple things here. So I want to fix that. And the nice thing about doing it is once you've made a component and you copy it, any changes you make to that component, it changes the other component as well. So let me get back over here. It's weird doing this without the mouse. Once you get used to the 3D mouse, it's like it's one of those things where it's just like it becomes just part of your whole system. So
blessing and a curse.
Yeah. I'm noticing a little lag on the mouse, I think, because I have so many wheels open here. So this component will slide down the stanchion here, and that's what's going to offer the plunge on the drill press. So now we need to create the gears, and I want to show you how I do that. I talked to these guys prior, and I use a program I don't use only this program, but for simple gears and simple applications, I'm going to pull this over here so you can see it. I use a gear template generator that Matthias Wandel designed, and you can see this is really basic stuff. So it doesn't have to be a rack, of course. That's just an option. So I can change it to a ring gear if I want to get fancy. Let me see why it's not. Okay, it's not responding. So I'm not going to go through trying to fix that. So
that's what live demos bring out in computer programs, right there.
Right? I don't know why. You never know. So And you can do all kinds of things here where you can like, change the pitch diameter, change the tool depth, the tip, how many gears, basically any operation that you would need to create a simple gear system. In this case, we're doing a gear in a rack. It's all here. So it's just this really super simple system that I can use. Now, once I make one, I probably should show that. There's a little bit of a weirdism when it comes to using generators like this. You'll export it, in this case, to SketchUp, or you could do a basic DXF if you have Pro. But just here, SketchUp right here, download it to SketchUp, and then when you come here to import it, you'll import it either as a DXF, depending on your program, or a collage file, and it can be a little tricky to find. I moved it already. Sorry, guys. I thought I had that pulled up, but I wanted to show it to you. So this is what it comes in looking like. So let me import that real quick. So it's going to come in as this weird kind of line file. And the first thing you're going to need to know is that it's not going to come in as the same size as it was in the program. So in that case, the gear was like 3 inches. So if I tape this out, we're looking at like 1.5 inches. So I need to change that size. So before I explode it, I'm going to go ahead and scale it up, and I'm just going to guess here instead of getting all, technical here. But so I get it to the size I want, explode it, and it basically works like a DXF once you explode it. So if I needed this to be a solid piece, I would explode it down to its geometry. So its geometry is open, and then I would just go ahead and create this. So I'll get rid of those. Oops.
That makes it pretty easy because I know gears they're pretty specific. I mean, you can make a thing that looks like a gear in a few seconds, but they have a proper gear that's gonna function. Yeah.
Well, when it comes to gears, you're talking about a bunch of different things. You're talking about how the angles match with each other. So that's the pitch diameter. You have the overall diameter. You have the kind of the addendum, how these little guys right here, those little nubs, have to be the right size so they operate quickly. So you can math it out, and if you like math, there's lots of stuff online that shows you how to do all the math for it.
Hey, I'm getting pinged over here to need to wrap soon, so we have a couple minutes for questions.
Okay,
but
all right. So you guys get the basic gist of it. So let me just show you the finished file here, and then we will call it. Right. So the when I do the layout, I lay everything out in flat files, and then what it looks like in a finished version, which we saw at the beginning here. It just gives me this real basic place to start, and I'll cut this out, and then I'll fine tune it, come back into SketchUp, make all the little changes I need to. Typically, if you've done your work in SketchUp, you don't need, they're usually, in my case, and I'm sure if you do it for a while, in your case, they'd work right off the bat. And it's just a matter of fine tuning how you want the performance to be. So I hope you guys found some nuggets in that. And I would encourage you kind of just to remember to take out of SketchUp what you need from it. I know a lot of guys jump in and they're trying to learn everything at once. Don't do that. All right, I'm just going to stop sharing the screen now. Is that how we're going to do this? Okay.
That was great. I mean, it's always fun to watch somebody else like how they go about designing. But one of the things I really got out of that is just like you said, just keeping it simple and what do you need out of it, and just do that part. Don't get fancy.
Yeah, and I need to learn how to use scenes because I have had files. I've literally done machine work in here, designing machine parts in here for a company where I've had 200 parts just laid out. But it works. So, all
right, yeah, we'll set up some time for a class after this one.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so we did have a few questions come in, but before that, we want to make sure we get your trivia question out.
Yes. As a reminder, the prize for the trivia question is the plans for Izzy's modern Adirondack chair. I got it.
Nailed it.
Right on.
So hopefully you were all paying attention. But Izzy, can you let them all know what your trivia question was?
What year did William Blanche Brain design or patent the first drill press?
Type your answer into the chat.
That's a tough one.
Whoa,
Oh, that was fast.
not that tough.
Yeah, a whole bunch are getting it right.
Who had it first, Tori?
I think so. Was it 1889? Do I have the right one?
Yes.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, it looks like our winner is Aisha No, and I apologize if I mispronounced that.
You did a better job.
Every week I'm getting these wrong. So congratulations. In order to claim your prize, send an email to our team. They're going to put their address in the chat there, but it's events@sketchup.com. And if you send an email with your name and the episode number, they will get you set up with your prize.
Awesome. Great job paying attention, everybody. Everybody who had the answer. That was awesome.
Yeah, well done.
Okay, so we have a couple quick questions we want to run through. I know we're running a little low on time, so we're not going to hit every question. We'll just be upfront about that. But as soon as we let him go, Izzy's going to go live on his channel on Instagram. So if you're not following him, now is the time to get on Instagram and find him and start following him because you'll be able to ask him additional questions that we don't get to during that session.
And you get to see how messy my desk is right now.
We have to show that on Instagram? I didn't know that.
Well, the suggestion was to show people my work, my workstation and how my work flows. So I figure I'm going to do that, but sorry ahead of time. Just saying.
A clean desk is a sign of. I said it wrong. Something about a messy desk. You're productive. I don't remember.
Creative mind or something like that.
If a messy desk is the example of a creative mind, what's a clean desk? An empty mind.
Ooh, I think you got it. I feel
Something
like
along. That's an Albert Einstein. That's an Albert Einstein quote. That's actually an Albert Einstein quote, and I messed it all up. But yeah, you guys get where we're going with this. So.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple quick questions, real quick. What would you say to 20-year-old Izzy Swan if you had an opportunity? That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Learn 3D modeling sooner.
Start now.
Yeah.
Not bad. Invent the CNC. How about that?
I think the CNC was pretty much already a concept when I was around. I think the CNC was actually a concept in the early 60s.
Oh, I had no idea about that. I'm surprised.
That's older than I would have thought. Yeah. We have, I think you actually might have answered this because somebody noticed when they were watching your presentation, but people wanted to know if you use any plugins and which ones would be your favorite, but I don't think you had an extensions toolbar, so you might have answered that already.
Yeah, I have a couple, but I didn't pull them up. So I use one for pocket holes. I kid you not. I can't remember the name of it right now, and I don't think I put it on this system yet. So, I use one for pocket holes. I use one for rounding edges. I think that's about it. Typically I do one of the things I wanted to mention is I do pull a lot of stuff in from like McMaster Car. If you have DXF and stuff, I'll pull their parts and stuff in a lot. And even though it's still a flat file, when I'm laying out, engineering drawings, I do engineering drawings in SketchUp too, because it's just fast and easy. So I'll pull in parts from there. But as far as a lot of plugins, I don't. I create the parts I need pretty much from the tools that you guys have available. And once you get, proficient at those, there's, unless you're doing some really over the top stuff, it's just not necessary. At least I find that for my workflow. And again, I'm just talking about my workflow, which for most of you guys out there, I'm sure that 90% of you are better than I am at SketchUp as far as, know way more about it. But I always encourage people to take what you need from what you're using and not complicate it. That means when you use what you have, you're faster. You get the job quicker.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with someone that likes the native tools in SketchUp.
If it works for you, why? Yeah, don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Go ahead.
There's some really cool shadowing stuff that I need to go watch. I still haven't watched that, Aaron. That one, the video you did on how to do all that shadowing stuff, which was just wicked cool. So I need to go back and look that up on the SketchUp on YouTube SketchUp.
Awesome. Well, we are at the hour mark, so we are going to let you go. Izzy, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been awesome. It's been cool because I've seen your SketchUp models before, but I've never actually seen or hear you talk through the process of modeling. That was insightful, and I really appreciate it. Thanks again for your time.
Yeah.
Thanks again for having me. I hope you guys, somebody got some nugget out of that.
Oh, sure.
I'm sure they did. And if you have more questions, the link is down below us right now. Click on it and follow Izzy on over to his Instagram Live.
Awesome. Thank you, Izzy. We'll see you over
Bye,
there.
guys.
Bye. Oh man, I
fun.
come out of these like half inspired and half just telling myself that I really need to get better at SketchUp.
I do have to admit, I was paying attention, but I did spend a little time working on my crocheted fox. So I think he's looking pretty sweet. I mean, let's see here. So yeah, it's more or less the same.
Yeah, I'd say that's a lot closer. I can see where the ears are now.
Yeah, got a head and everything. All right.
Well done. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. Please make sure you come back next week for episode 4 when we're going to be talking to residential architect John Melby.
It's going to be a good time. And until next week, I got a tip inspired by Izzy. Keep it simple. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to come back next week when we talk to architect John Melby. To keep the fun going, head over to Izzy's Instagram page now to chat with him live. Thank you for watching the Fireside Chat Series.